Good morning, students. We are starting with the next topic of this chapter, that is mechanism of breathing. See, by the word breathing, this simply means that inhalation and exhalation of gases are taking place. Now, there are certain changes that are taking place in the thoracic cavity during the process of inhalation and exhalation, and we have to study what type of changes are taking place during inhalation and exhalation. Before understanding the mechanism of inhalation and exhalation, you need to understand what type of structures are present around our thoracic cavity. See, I told earlier also that on the back side, on the dorsal side, we are having a vertebral column. Suppose this is the vertebral column. With these vertebral columns, various ribs are moving forward like this way. Here, this is the vertebral column. From here, a rib is arising and it is moving on the front side. From back side, it is moving like this way. And in front, we are having a bone, straight small bone, that is sternum, and on the front side these ribs are attached with this sternum. So pair of ribs are arising, one from this side and one from this side, and finally these ribs are covering our thoracic cavity. So this is how the structure can appear. This is the sternum that is present on the front side, and this is the vertebral column that is present on our back side. On ventral side sternum is there, and on dorsal side vertebral column is there. Now ribs are attached with these structures. The space that is present, this is one rib, this is the second rib. The space that is present between these ribs, these are having some muscles in them. This is the intercostal muscles that are present, internal intercostal muscles. And another pair of muscles are present that are external intercostal muscles. So this is how a network of muscles are present. Why we are discussing these muscles? Because these muscles are important and they are playing role in the mechanism of breathing. So simply between the ribs, two type of muscles are present. One are internal intercostal muscles and the second one are external intercostal muscles. This is the sternum and this is the vertebral column. So let's start how these muscles are helping in the process of inhalation and exhalation. First, let's discuss about the process of inhalation. Inhalation simply means we are inhaling gases from the atmosphere. See, gases are moving with, or you can say gases are entering by the process of diffusion. That means from higher pressure they are moving to the lower pressure. That means for inhalation the pressure of gases in the atmosphere should be more, and in our thoracic cavity the pressure should be less. This is simply by increasing this would happen simply by increasing the size of thoracic cavity. Thoracic cavity is the cavity, or you can say the region that is enclosing our lungs. So if we are increasing the size of thoracic cavity, the pressure inside the cavity is going to decrease, and because of this decreased pressure, gases are going to move from atmosphere inside this thoracic cavity. So how this size is going to be increased? See, some of the structures are helping in the increase of size of thoracic cavity, like diaphragm is there. If you remember, this is the trachea, primary bronchi entering into lungs, and beyond on this side of the lungs a dome shaped structure is present that is known as diaphragm. This is the normal position of diaphragm. Now on the front side rib cage is present, and on the back side vertebral column is present. Now this diaphragm is in relaxed position, and when inhalation is going to take place, this diaphragm contracts and it becomes flat. So contraction of diaphragm takes place during the inhalation process, and the shape of the diaphragm is going to change. Earlier it was dome shaped and now it becomes flat. So because of this flattening, the pressure of the diaphragm has been decreased and the size of the thoracic cavity will increase. The second role will be of external intercostal muscles. The external intercostal muscles are again going to contract, and when these muscles are contracting, they are making the rib cage to move upwards and outward. So there will be upward and outward movement of rib cage, and this is again, the rib cage is going to move upward and outward, and this is again increasing the size of thoracic cavity. There is some role of abdominal muscles also, but abdominal muscles are playing a passive role. These abdominal muscles are going to relax. They will be present under this. This is the abdominal region with downwards with the diaphragm. So these organs are going to present, the abdominal organs are going to present downwards to the diaphragm. So all these things are leading to the increase in the size of thoracic cavity, and because of this increase in the size of thoracic cavity, the gases from atmosphere are going to enter inside our respiratory tract. The passage of gases, or you can say the pathway for inhalation, will be, firstly it is entering into the external layers from outside, and from external layers the gases are going to the nasal cavity. Then it is opening into the internal layers, glottis. This glottis is opening into larynx, trachea, primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, bronchioles, and finally these are entering into bronchioles, and finally they are moving inside the alveoli. So this will be the passage for inhalation. These alveoli are surrounded by various blood capillaries. So from here this oxygen will be diffused into the blood capillaries, and these blood capillaries are going to take this oxygen to all the various parts of our body. This is how inhalation is taking place. So in the major role is played by diaphragm and external intercostal muscles in the process of inhalation. The second step of breathing is exhalation, removal of gases from the expiratory system. Again, the gases are going to move from higher pressure to lower pressure. That means we have to create a higher pressure inside the thoracic cavity so that we can push the air outside our body. So decreasing in size of the thoracic cavity will going to be increase the pressure. Again, with these structures are going to help in the decrease in the size of thoracic cavity. What will be the role of diaphragm? Diaphragm will again be of dome shaped. Earlier it was flattened during inhalation. Again it will become relaxed and it will come in its normal position, that is dome shaped position. And when it is coming in a dome shaped position, it is pushing the thoracic cavity upwards. And because of this upward movement, the size of thoracic cavity is going to decrease. So diaphragm is going to relax, comes in its original position, leading to the decrease in the size of thoracic cavity. Second role will be played by internal intercostal muscles. These intercostal muscles are again going to contract, and because of the contraction of these internal intercostal muscles, the ribs are going to move downward and inward, again creating a pressure on the thoracic cavity. So this is again leading to the decrease in the size of thoracic cavity. Here abdominal muscles are also going to play a very important role. These abdominal muscles are going to contract, And because of the contraction of these abdominal muscles here, various abdominal organs are present. These organs are moving upward. When these organs are moving upward, they are again pushing this diaphragm in upward position, making it more dome shaped. Earlier this was the situation, a dome shaped diaphragm was there, but because of the continuous pushing of the abdominal organs, the dome will be more prominent, and there will be further more decrease in the size of thoracic cavity. And because this decrease in the size of thoracic cavity, pressure will increase here and the gases will be exhaled out of our body. So the important role is played by the internal intercostal muscles and abdominal muscles in the process of exhalation. What will be the pathway for exhalation? The pathway for exhalation will be just the reversion of the pathway for inhalation. That means from alveoli going to secondary bronchioles, secondary bronchi, primary bronchi, trachea, larynx, glottis, then internal nares, then comes our nasal cavity, and finally it will be removed with the help of our external nares. So this will be the pathway for exhalation of gases. So this is how gases are inhaled and exhaled out of our body. Nextly, we will see the different volume and capacities associated with our respiratory system.